Hey everyone, Jake Muller here. We're going to be going over how to land switch on skis. I think this is one of the more important things I can teach because it's useful for any trick you're doing where you land backwards, and it's going to really improve your ability to look better on the mountain, especially if you kind of listen to some of the things I go over in this video. And the reason I'm teaching it is because I know a lot of people, you don't technically have trouble landing backwards, but there's ways you can do it that'll make you look a lot better and improve your style and also improve your results in competitions. So this is kind of how I started landing switch, doing my right spins because I wasn't comfortable landing backwards that way. So I did the trick fine, but I landed with my legs really far apart to make sure I at least landed the trick, and then I brought them really close together right away to kind of ride away as smoothly and steezy as I could. This is going to happen especially when you start landing tricks backwards. You want to land with your feet wide so you can learn how to do it, but we're going to go into the more advanced and better looking way, in my opinion, of landing switch. I think the best way you can land switch is pretty much going to be like with your hands in your pocket and your feet as close together as possible, and that's going to be the smoothest and most appealing way to land switch, and it also increases your chance of doing better in competitions because it allows judges to see that your hands aren't touching the ground and that you're also landing very controlled and very smooth. So I always try and land, like I said, with my hands as close to my pockets as I can without them being really in the way. And then I also try and land with my edges kind of in the ground. So if I land backwards, I land with my feet as close together as possible, and I also have my edges in the ground. When you first start trying this, you'll probably land with your feet around shoulder width apart like I do on this 180 right here. And it's good to practice this on 180 so you're not all twisted up when you're landing. But when you land with your feet like this, you should bring them together as close as you can and right away on edge. So you can see how I'm on edge right there, carving away. And that's really good for kind of working into the way the trick's going to look. Okay, so far we've gone over landing with your hands at your side, kind of in the pocket area, and we've also gone over landing on edge with your feet as close as possible. And one of the last things I want to touch on is landing without using your back to absorb the impact. So what I mean is, don't land and when you have the impact, you gotta either bend your knees or hunch over on your back. You want to try and not take the impact in your back and bend down with your knees. Now, all the impact can't go straight to your knees, but you want to kind of start bending your knees, and then if you have to bend over your back too, go there. But don't just have stiff legs and then bend your back over. And that's going to be really bad form. You're not only going to hurt your back, but it's going to look kind of bad as well. Landing with your knees bent will also give you a lot more control, ready and prepared for the next jump or rail that's coming your way, or obstacle if someone's in your landing. So it's not just for looks and everything, it's also for just controlling your ability to maneuver around any object that you need to. So make sure when you're going, you have your hands at your side when you land, you have your knees bent, you have your edges in the ground, and your feet as close as possible. And these things not only make you look like a much better and much more controlled skier, but it'll also help you in competitions and really improve your switch riding. And this is nothing you can really switch overnight if you're just learning free skiing. But what you really want to work on is just skiing switch as much as possible whenever you're on the hill. That'll really help improve your ability to land switch. But if you're already pretty good at landing switch and you're just realizing that, wow, I didn't realize I don't ski or land with my feet close together, then you should be able to transfer this really quick. And then it's just from here on out, remember every time you land switch to kind of bring your feet as close as possible the second you land. And sometimes if you do it too close, then you might tip over sometimes, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get. If you have trouble whenever you land switch and you're leaning too far forward, make sure as you come out of a trick, you have your chest up. You don't want to have your back hunched over. So on that dub 12, I had my chest really far forward. But right here, Brian Gardner, he has his chest pointed out the whole way around the trick and lands switch perfectly, without an issue at all. So that's just a tip if you always land leaning forward. And just some of my favorite skiers that I kind of got this tip from. One was John Stelter. He's a good friend of mine. And I never really thought about landing with my feet as close as I could together, and so he kind of taught me that and helped me work on it. And a pro out there that everyone seems to like a lot, John Brogan, he always did this as well. He always landed with his feet as close as he could. And I heard rumors that he used to cut the brakes off the inside of his skis so he could land with them even a little bit closer than normal. So just so you know, it's kind of a cool way to learn how to land switch better and it'll improve your look, your skiing, and allow people to maybe see you stand out a little bit more. So good luck with this and just practice it as much as you can.